Hello to Dr. Din Nelson. My name is Ahmed Farid bin Safarudin with a metric of BT23303 Today I'm going to present part 1, which is the relative frequency and cumulative relative frequency. Before we dive into the comparison of relative frequency and cumulative relative frequency of the two key metrics, I'm going to explain first and foremost on how to find the relative frequency and the cumulative relative frequency. First, to find the relative frequency, we must divide the frequency with the total number of observations. To find the cumulative relative frequency, however, simply plus the proportion of values that fall below the upper limit of each class. Now, we are going to compare the relative frequency for both customer satisfaction score and customer retention rate. So, according to the polygon shown on the screen, from the percentage of 60 up to the 70%, the relative frequency for customer satisfaction score is 0.03 and for customer retention rate it's 0.37. Next, I'm going to compare from 71% up to 80%. For the relative frequency for customer satisfaction score, it's 0.3. For the customer retention rate, it's 0.43. Up next, for 81% up to 90%, the relative frequency is 0.47, while the customer retention rate is 0.2%. Last but not least, for the 91% up to 100%, the relative frequency for customer satisfaction score is 0.2 and a mere 0 for customer retention rate.
Okay, hi. My name is Muhammad Arman Mirzan bin Abdul Ghani with matrix number of BB233110854. So now we're moving on to the cumulative relative frequency. As you can see, there are two, which is the customer satisfaction score and customer retention rate, which shows that a slight difference between them. So as for the customer satisfaction score, 60 up to 70%, it has 0.03 cumulative relative frequency. Meanwhile, for the retention rate, 60 up to 70%, it shows that 0.37. It shows that 0.34% difference between the cumulative relative frequency for 60 up to 70%. As for the 71 up to 80% for the satisfaction score, it shows the 0.33 cumulative relative frequency. On the other hand, 0.8 cumulative relative frequency for the retention rate. It shows that 0.47 difference between them. Okay, for the last one, which is the 91 up to 100%, both of the customer satisfaction score and the customer retention rate shows a similar cumulative relative frequency, which is 1.
Hi and Assalamualaikum to Doctor. My name is Nur Syafika Amani binti Abri. My matrix number is BB2331609. So today I will present about part 2. This is measure of central location between customer satisfaction score versus customer retention rate. So I will explain about mean, median and mode. Mean means sum of value divide number of value. So for customer satisfaction score, the mean is 2527 divide 30, so the answer is 84.23%. For the median is middle value in sorted data, so the answer is 85. For the mode is most frequent value, so the answer is 85 and 88. While for customer retention rate, the mean means sum of value divide number of values. So the sum of value is 22 divide 30. The answer is 74.07%. For the median means middle value in sort data. So the answer is 74. While for mode, this is most frequent value, so the answer is 88 and 80. Next, I will explain about interpretation of the result. So for the mean of customer satisfaction score is customer across the 30 local business acquired satisfied with the service or products they receive. So most of the business are performing well in meeting customer expectation. While for customer retention rate, average retention is substantially lower than satisfaction. Next, for median of customer satisfaction score, half of business score above 85% have below of symmetric distributions, while for customer retention rate, confirm central tendency match means that is balanced distribution, while for the mode, customer satisfaction score is 88 and 85 is a common level of customer satisfaction and appear most frequently among the local companies. This is shows peak performance levels. For customer retention rate, the 88 in the percentage that appears most frequently in a dataset. So this shows the while the average is lower, many business companies achieve a solid 88% retention. So indicates that some companies are effective in converting satisfaction into loyalty. So in conclusion, this may indicate other influencing factors such as competition, pricing or external markets was impacting retention despite satisfactions. That's all, thank you.
Hello, my name is Albert, metric number BB233030848. Okay, so now I'm going to explain about the part 3, calculate the percentile and construct box plot for each of the two key metric. So I use two formula. So the first formula is to find the position, meanwhile the second formula if the position isn't a whole number. Okay, so for the position, Q is the Q1 or Q2 or Q3 and N is the number of data. Okay, so from the formula, what we find is the minimum is 70, the Q1 is 80, median is 85, Q3 is 88.75, and maximum is 93, and lastly IQR is 8.75. These are the findings for the customer satisfaction score. And the customer retention rate is min 60, Q1 is 65.5, median 74, Q3 79.5, maximum 88, and IQR is 11. So these are the results from finding. So let's move on to the box plot. Okay, so now let's move on into the box plot. So on the left, we have the customer satisfaction box plot. The box represents the middle 50% of the data from Q1 to Q3, and the line inside is the median. So you can see that the satisfaction score are quite concentrated with a smaller IQR range of 8.75, suggesting consistency among companies. On the right is the customer retention box plot. It shows a wider spread. The IQR is 11, meaning there are more variation in how well business retain customer. So even though both medians are high, the larger spread in retention suggests that some businesses may be struggling to maintain customer loyalty, even if satisfaction is generally high. So in summary, satisfaction is consistent, but retention very small, indicating that satisfaction doesn't always guarantee loyalty. So yeah, that is all for part 3. So let's move on to part 4. So yeah, thank you.
Hello, my name is Laili Wardani binti Saharin. My metric number is BB233060955. Now I will presenting about part 4, that is calculate and compare measure of dispersion between the two key metrics, which are customer satisfaction score and customer retention rate. So, to understand the variability in our data, we have calculate 5 key measure, that is range, mean assembly deviation, variance, standard deviation, and comprehension of variation. First, the range tells us the spread of values. Customer satisfaction has a range of 23 while customer retention has a slightly higher range of 28, showing that greater variation in retention. Next, we look at MET, which measure the average distance from the mean. That is, retention again show more variance with a MET of 5.74 compared to 4.88 for satisfaction. Moving on the variance and standard deviation, which further confirm the same pattern. Retention has a higher variance of 49.17 and a standard deviation of 7.01, while satisfaction scores are more consistent with lower values. Lastly, the coefficient of variance gives us a relative measure of dispersion. Retention has a CV of 0.09, slightly higher than satisfaction 0.7, meaning that retention is more volatile in proportion to its means. In summary, the results show that customer satisfaction scores are generally more stable across companies, while customer retention rates are more scattered and less predictable. This could suggest that while many companies succeed in keeping customers satisfied, retaining them long-term may still be a challenge. Thank you.
Hello Dr. Nelson, my name is Dela Valentino Ramli. My number metric is BB233110509. I will be presenting my part, which is part 5. So, as a data analyst, I explore the relationship between two key performance metrics, which is customer satisfaction score and customer retention rate. Using data from 30 local businesses for March 2025, I applied two correlations methods to assess the strength and directions of relationship between the variables. The first one is percent correlations. Second is spearman correlations. For percent correlations is 0.814. This indicates a strong positive leaders relationship. A customer satisfaction increase, retention rates tends to rise as well. And for spearman correlations, this reflects a strong monotonic relationship, means that company with higher satisfaction score generally also ranks higher in retentions, even if the relationship isn't perfectly linear. In simpler terms, customers who are more satisfied are more likely to stay loyal to the company. This supports that the idea that investing in customer satisfaction through quality service, effective communications, and responsiveness can lead to better customer retention. I recommend that business focus on improving customer satisfaction through better service training, personalized experience, and proactive issue resolutions to boost retention. In overall, the data clearly demonstrates a strong link between satisfaction and retention, which can be used as solid foundations for strategic business decisions. That's all for me. Thank you.